Good evening. We will open up the meeting of the ZBA for September 21st by standing and saying the Pledge of Allegiance first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's decisions will be published in the Record Journal on Friday, September 25th, 2020. The effective date of your variance will be Friday, September 25th, 2020. The date a certified copy is recorded on the land records. The statutory 15-day appeal period will expire on Sunday, October 11, 2020. If you commence operations and/or construction during the appeal period, you will do at your own risk. The first item that we have on the agenda is wait a minute. We got a most important thing. Bob Parisi this evening will be sitting in for Joe Rusek, and Bruce Conroy will be sitting in for Tom Wolfer. Now, the second item on the agenda had been taken off basically because of no action at this point. It'll be on next month. And the first thing we have on the agenda is a variance request by Lawrence at 353 South Main Street. Mr. Secretary, do you have...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Variance request 20-020, Lawrence, 353 South Main Street. Applicant proposes converting first floor dental office to residential dwelling unit where dwelling unit exists on second floor, creating a two-family dwelling in an R11 single-family residential zone. Property ownership has remained the same since prior to the inception of zoning. Original zoning regulations permitted a customary home occupation without regulated area, number of employees, or clients, and without requiring special exception approval. Current regulations limit area to a maximum of 500 square feet. Employees must be residential occupants, no more than 2 clients at one time. No signage is permitted, and special exception approval from the ZBA is required. Property owner operated a dental office on the entire first floor while converting the second floor to owner-occupied dwelling unit. Applicant proposes converting first floor dental office to residential dwelling unit. Proposal is conforming as to use, in parentheses residential. However, the number of units, in parentheses 2, is not permitted in an R11 zone. We also have an interoffice memorandum dated September 1st, 2020 from the Department of Public Utilities, Water and Sewer Divisions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Does the person from here want to come up and identify yourself and present your case?
My name is James Lawrence. I currently own...
Is the mic on?
Was that not close enough?
That's good now.
Okay, sorry.
Name and address.
My name is James Lawrence. I live in New Bern, North Carolina. I also own 353 South Main Street. Previously, Dr. Robert John Lawrence and Ann Lawrence's home. Like you said, I am looking to convert that to a two-family home. Initially, when that home was first purchased in the late 50s by my mother and father, the primary kitchen was in the first floor. They did get variance to put a second floor kitchen on. So I'm trying to bring it to a two-family home now. Just wanted to discuss how the house is set up, established, that it would conform to a two-family house, and see how that works with you. So,
Okay.
it currently does have separate entrances for the first floor, and a separate entrance to the second and third floor. My father's office was on the first floor, so there was a separate way in from the front and the back of the house. It also has a front entrance to the second and third floor from the front and from the rear of the house. Trying to think what you might also need. There are 3 bathrooms in the home, full bathrooms. There is separate kitchens. Like I said earlier, the first floor has a kitchen. It has a washroom. Same with the second floor to support the second and third floor where we lived. The house also has multiple areas to park. It's a 3-car garage. There is also additional parking on the side of that garage if necessary. My father had clients also park on Pine Street. And I'm trying to think what else I might be able to tell you. Those were some of the highlights of what I put down in my notes and what I provided. I provided additional information in terms of dimensions of the number of bedrooms that it currently supports and what the first floor would support. I did receive also something from the town, an inter-office memorandum from Eric Kruger. I did speak with Mr. Kruger. He had a concern about the plumbing. He was concerned if it was going to be able to support additional plumbing, but there is no additional plumbing. There would be actually less plumbing because my father's office, each individual location and his rooms had plumbing which would not be required there. All the other plumbing pre-existed and is supported today. People using, a bathroom in the first floor, that will not change. Maybe some updates on fixtures and such, but nothing to change the actual structure or support of how many people would be able to, use the facilities, water, etc. So I just wanted to address that memorandum. Excuse me. I have been working on the house. I've had roof replaced, energy efficiency changes, windows, siding is currently going on to the house, and several other updates for efficiency, new appliances to make it more efficient, and let's see, what else did I do? We were required to do some electrical updates by a certified electrician. We had that done. We also worked on the central air, again to bring it up to code and make it more efficient, separating the first and second floor. Currently, the electrical between the first and second floor is separate, so they are tracked through the electrical division independently. So my father received bills as well as the upstairs for the second and third floor. Those were what I had in my notes.
Sounds like you got it covered pretty well.
tried to do my
Do we have any
diligence.
any questions here from the commissioners?
Hey, he has to talk into the microphone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Parisi. What did you have a question for me?
I would like to ask him to talk into the microphone,
Oh, okay.
please.
I was just curious what the hardship was.
The hardship?
Yeah, why we should approve it. There's usually a reason. Other than you want to make it into a two-family house. We're supposed to have a hardship, I believe, right?
Once my parents passed away, I mean, I'm not going to use the house. I own property. My brothers and such own properties. It's not something that we plan to use and run a business out of. My expectation was it's pretty far down on Main Street. There's not that many businesses that far. My expectation would be that we would rather see families living that far down Main Street versus a business. I mean, don't know if that's considered a hardship, but
Mr. Conroy, you look like you're looking for some input from staff. This was an unusual case where the property, as Mr. Lawrence has stated, was a dental office, which in the 1960s was permitted by right without any restrictions. So one could conduct their own business from their own residence. And that's how that came to be. It was never anything but a residential zone. That being said, the property has been vacant since the passing of his father, that space. So somebody could come in and claim that non-conforming use as another dentist, but we'd have to find a buyer who's a dentist who wanted to live upstairs. It is moving more toward conformity by bringing the use residentially, which is what the zone requires. It's the number of units that is the question.
Any other? Swinski?
Yeah, so in the document you provided us here, it makes mention of, I believe, 3 or 2 garage spaces.
there's currently a 3-car garage, yes.
Okay. And 2 additional spots beside the garage, right?
They were there if they were needed, but mostly when I was growing up, we used the side of the house, but there's space there, yes.
Okay. And as far as parking goes with 2 families, will those people or those folks be able to use the garage to park their cars?
Oh, absolutely, yes. They're heated, it's a heated garage.
Okay.
I have 2 of my cars in there currently.
Okay. But they'll be able to use,
Yes.
basically, what I'm getting at is there sufficient parking so that people don't end up parking on the side of the street?
Yes, there is. The 3-car garage is meant for 3 cars, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other yes?
Good evening. Just for my clarification, your neighborhood, are there any commercial or medical offices in the surrounding areas?
No, they're mostly between Ward Street and Pine Street where my mom and dad's house was. There were 9 approximately rooming houses or apartment buildings, but there really are none anymore. I know previously on the corner of Parson, it was Parson and Main, that was I want to say law building as I was growing up, but I think that has since gone away too as well. So I don't think anything after Ward Street is commercial.
Sure. So essentially, this would be conforming with your immediate neighbor.
Yeah, like I said, there's 9 between Ward Street and Pine Street where I am, and literally across the street from me, I don't know their name, but it was Mrs. Erskine. They are currently a rooming house, and then next to them, there's quite a few in that area. Yes, they're just big houses. I mean, they're 4,000 plus square feet houses, you know.
And how long did you say this has been in your family, the home?
1958, my father graduated medical school and moved into Wallingford.
That's pretty neat. So I think that's very cool that it's been in your family for so long, and I think this is a good addition to the neighborhood, and I certainly will be supporting it.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, a lot of memories in that house, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
Any other? Ms. Harris?
I would just like to ask you what your plans are for the property. Do you intend to manage?
Your
it?
mic
The
isn't on.
microphone is,
What do I do to turn?
yeah,
Oh,
there you
am
go,
I
you
on
gotta
now?
get close.
I'd like to ask what your plans are for the property. Do you intend to manage it as rental property or to sell it?
I would say long-term, we will probably sell the home. Depending on, you know, what the market bears when I'm done doing the minor renovations that I'm doing. But I would say so that my family could get their, you know, their inheritance, I guess is the best way to put it. I will probably most likely put it on the market, to be honest with you.
So then just a follow-up question, when do you expect to be finished with the renovations?
I would hope within the next 6 months, that is my expectation, but I'm doing a lot of it on my own. And I have a full-time job, so it's not as fast as I would like.
And you live in North Carolina.
I do, but I have not been in North Carolina for 6 months. So, but
Thank you.
I can work remote, so that's a good thing, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I'd ask the public if they oppose this or if they approve it. However, it doesn't appear there's anybody in the public. So I'll bring it back up here to the table and look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, don't close the public hearing when you're ready to entertain a motion.
Say again?
Don't forget to close your public hearing when you're
Oh.
ready.
Yes.
Thank you.
I
Point of order.
closed the public hearing.
Right.
Bring it back up here to the table. Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the variance request number 20-020 Lawrence 353 South Main Street. Variance request to convert first floor customary home occupation dental office to second residential unit where two family dwellings are not permitted at 353 South Main Street as shown on submitted plans received August 14th, 2020, subject to conditions, comments from Eric Kruger, Senior Engineer, Water and Sewer Division, dated September 10th, 2020.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Have a vote?
Motion to approve, Mr. Conroy.
I vote no to approve.
Mr. Carmody.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Serwinski.
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Rice.
Yes to approve. Your item has been accepted.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. On your question about the Eric item, I think he said he was going to send an email or something in response to that memorandum that he had sent out, because I spoke with him on Friday.
Sure.
Okay, if he does not, I could follow up and ask him to please send something.
Yeah, Amy, can you-
Mr. Lawrence, that we have made that, or the board has made that a condition of approval, just meaning that you satisfy it. So yes, I'm sure there will be correspondence and such for progress along the way, and that the condition has been met to sign off.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate
Welcome.
your time.
have a good night.
Okay, do we have a motion on the minutes for August 17th?
So moved.
Second.
Motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, is there an opportunity for me to say something before we adjourn? You know, I have a few comments that I just would like to raise before tonight's meeting is over. First and foremost, I am very disappointed that this meeting was not held virtually. I carefully read through Attorney Small's memorandum dated on September 1st, 2020, And I wanted to point out a few things that I noticed, and I know Attorney Small's not here tonight, so she can't respond. But first, item number 2 of her memorandum refers to masks and social distancing. It states that although it is recommended for board members to keep 6 feet of social distancing, it says, quote, "Please keep in mind that by wearing masks, the 6 feet distance is not mandatory." And I just have to point out that this flies in the face of CDC's guidelines, which states wearing a mask does not replace the need to practice social distancing, particularly in shared spaces like we are in tonight. I also want to note that keeping distance from others is especially important for people who are elderly and are at an increased risk for severe illness. Enclosed indoor facilities like this one provide poor ventilation and a greater opportunity for COVID-19 to spread. And I will say this, both of my parents, my mom and my dad, now 69 and 70, and I'm sure they will be upset with me for sharing their age, but they both went here for junior high school, and they were in this auditorium while they were here. And you know, if our town's record of maintenance of our buildings is any indication of how the ventilation system is now, 55 or 56 years later, I don't think we are dealing with a state-of-the-art ventilation system this evening here in this room. And beyond all of that, there was not, and there is not, a temperature screening of employees or members of the public who enter this building. That's something that happens at casinos, restaurants, other town halls. It is as if this town does not believe that COVID-19 exists. And we have taken incredible precautions in our school systems, and they should be commended for the planning that they have put in place there. But when we come back here into this building, our town hall, we barely closed or scaled back operations during the height of COVID. We eventually closed the town hall to the public, not the employees, putting our employees at risk. And the list goes on. I mean, we all know about the issues with the ballot boxes being placed outside. And all of this is a pattern, it is a theme, and one that we see tonight, an arbitrary and thoughtless decision to put the public at risk by having a meeting here in the council chambers. This town's administration seems to not believe we are in the midst of a pandemic, and it's putting this town and its people at risk. Tonight's meeting should have been virtual, just like how the town council's meeting is taking place tomorrow. But apparently our administration picks and chooses who should be put at risk and who should not. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, where were we? Oh, adjournment. Motion to adjourn? Or does anybody else want to comment?
I would like just to make sure that I mean, as I said earlier on our group message, I have no choice but to work in the public, and coming here endangers every one of you. And I come because I volunteered and I try to come as much as I possibly can. Right. And I think that it is irresponsible and a serious double standard to have a council meeting where the mayor sits here perfectly safe because there's nobody in the room, and whereas you all are endangered by me or someone else. And I want to make sure that, like Sam, that we understand, and this is a public acknowledgement that this is wrong. We do not have one meeting virtually and the rest in person for some unknown reason. We all should be treated the same, and it's unacceptable that we have to come here and you all are in danger far more than I am. That's all. I would like to unless there's somebody else who wants to speak, I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Ms. Harris wants to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if this is the appropriate venue to bring this up, but as the new kid on the block, I was just wondering if there's any training that's available to members of the ZBA, especially new people like myself, that I may avail myself of.
Training for the committee?
Yeah.
I think
I think
Amy
Amy
could probably.
has some resources.
I think in light of new board members, transitioning the board, time going by, pandemic thrown in the middle, that there's opportunities, although they may not be customary, and I would like to be able to present them to the board to avail yourself of, from whatever resource, so we can keep abreast of what's happening out there. So I will be bringing them to for you to entertain, and I think that's a fabulous point, and point well taken, and I will note that as staff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Once the cameras are off.